Now our Commitment 2022 coverage. We'll look ahead to tomorrow's Florida primary. Joining us now, our exclusive WPBF 25 political analysts. I remember those guys. Former Florida House Majority Leader Adam Hassner, former U.S. Congressman Ron Klein. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us. It's a big evening. Key race appears to be picking a Democrat to take on the incumbent governor, Ron DeSantis. Adam, let me start with you up there in the box. Forget the polling. How do you handicap the race right now for the Democratic nomination going in?
Yeah, it's been surprising to me that a retired Republican is leading in the polls for the Democrat nomination for governor. But I think it's going to be a little bit closer than most people expect, and that some of the polling showing. I think Nikki Fried has come on strong in the last few weeks, so I expect it to be a close race. But again, I think both are going to be heavy underdogs against Ron DeSantis in November.
Right. We'll talk more about that tomorrow, obviously. Ron, same race, slightly different variation on the theme. When it comes down to it, what one or two factors will those Democratic primary voters be paying most attention to when they make that choice?
I think what most people pay attention to is who they think can beat Ron DeSantis. And Florida's a purple state. We forget that Obama won the state twice, and although DeSantis is obviously out there running for president or whatever he's going to run for, he obviously is the featured person that Democrats will be turning to. So I think a lot of people are making their decision on who they think has a better shot at beating Ron DeSantis.
You know, I so much want to just get into talking about the general election, but we have to go through this primary. Let's point out that candidate Ron DeSantis, congressman, won by 32,000 votes. But that was a long time ago. It was 4 years ago. Adam, I'm veering into general election territory slightly, but let me just ask you quick. Do you think the state has changed some in the last 4 years?
Well, not only do I think the state has changed, the data shows the state has changed. When Ron DeSantis was a candidate, there were several 100,000 more registered Democrats in Florida. Today, there are 300,000 more registered Republicans. So the state has changed, the demographics have changed, and I think that gives Ron DeSantis a bigger advantage than he would have already had as an incumbent governor in his reelection campaign.
But Ron, there's also that X factor out there, and that's all the independents who don't vote in the Florida primary. They can't.
That's right. That's right. And, listen, I think at the end of the day, if I won my election years ago by a quarter of a point or half point, whatever it is, man, I'd be governing from the middle. That's what I would do. I wouldn't want to be viewed as a hardcore Democrat or Republican. I'd be trying to bring people together. Ron DeSantis has done the exact opposite. He's run way to the right, like he won by 25 points. I don't quite get that, but obviously that's something that a Democrat will be pulling independent voters and Democrats. It'll all be a matter of turnout in the fall.
All right, we've veered completely into general election talk, and I didn't want to. But are there any other races that you're looking at as maybe some type of, stick a finger in the wind to see which way it's blowing that might tell us something about what happens come November? Adam?
Well, in Florida, I think this is the biggest race right now, especially because of what people are talking about for DeSantis being potentially a national candidate. But there aren't a lot of other big issues on the ballot in Florida. I know you'll be watching some races, the congressional race here locally, where the congresswoman who won by 5 votes in the special election is back running again against one of her top opponents. I think that'll be interesting to watch. But I'm expecting big wins from Republicans in November, and I don't think anything tomorrow night is going to change that.
Sheila Sherfulis-McCormick, as my memory serves me here. Ron, what about you? Anything else you're looking at in terms of what we'll see tomorrow, candidate-wise, or even turnout-wise, that will give us some hint of November 8th?
I don't think so. I think primary elections, late August, a lot of people are still away, traveling. Turnout is relatively low. I do believe, though, that November is going to light it up. I really do believe that both sides have a lot at stake here, and I think the Democrats view this as a very, very important race. I think between the Supreme Court and a lot of other things that'll drive it, the various issues that are out there and the way both sides have treated them will be vying for the middle, of course, but it's going to be I don't see anything happening in this primary that's necessarily going to change that.
All right, we get to talk about the primary some tomorrow, but then we'll talk all about November once that primary is completed. Ron Klein, Adam Hassner, thank you so much for being here. It's good to see you guys back here. And of course, we want to thank our experts and remind you, the polls open It's 7 a.m. tomorrow in the Palm Beaches on the Treasure Coast. Our coverage starts at 4:30 in the morning. Gentlemen, you don't have to get up that early, but we will see you. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.